ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਾਜ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ 2019 ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਣ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਵਿਧਾਨ ਸਭਾ ਚੋਣਾਂ ਲਈ ਹਰ ਹਲਕੇ ਤੋਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਚੁਣੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ। ਇਸ ਲੜੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੈਲਗਰੀ-ਫਾਲਕਨਰਿਜ ਹਲਕੇ ਤੋਂ ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਹਮਾਇਤੀਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਭਰੇ ਹਾਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੈਬਨਿਟ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਇਰਫਾਨ ਸਾਬਿਰ ਅਤੇ ਡਿਪਟੀ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਸੇਰਾ ਹੋਫਮੈਨ ਨੇ ਪਰਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਐਲਾਨਿਆ।
Celebration for our new riding nominee Parmeet Singh.
ਇਸ ਹਲਕੇ ਤੋਂ 2 ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੇਪਰ ਭਰੇ ਸਨ, ਪਰ ਇੱਕ ਦੇ ਪੇਪਰ ਕੈਂਸਲ ਹੋਣ ਕਰਕੇ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਨਾ ਹੋਣ ਕਰਕੇ ਪਰਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਮੁਕਾਬਲਾ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਐਲਾਨਿਆ ਗਿਆ। ਇਸ ਮੌਕੇ ਤੇ ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿਧਾਇਕ ਵੀ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਸਨ। ਕੈਬਨਿਟ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਇਰਫਾਨ ਸਾਬਿਰ ਅਤੇ ਡਿਪਟੀ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਸੇਰਾ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਰਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ ਹਰ ਪੱਖੋਂ ਖੁੱਲ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਹਮਾਇਤ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਅਪੀਲ ਕੀਤੀ, ਉੱਥੇ ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਦੀ ਪਿਛਲੀ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਲੰਮੇ ਹੱਥੀ ਲਿਆ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਗਲਤ ਪਾਲਿਸੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਸਖਤ ਆਲੋਚਨਾ ਕੀਤੀ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਨੂੰ ਮੁੜ ਲੀਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਲਿਆਉਣ ਲਈ ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਮੌਕਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ।
ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜੀ ਆਇਆਂ ਨੂੰ। ਅੱਜ ਪਰਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ ਨੋਮੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਜਸ਼ਨ ਲਈ ਆਉਣ ਲਈ ਇਹ ਨਿਊ ਰਾਈਡਿੰਗ ਫਾਲਕਨਰਿਜ, ਕੈਸਲਰਿਜ, ਕੋਰਲ ਸਪ੍ਰਿੰਗਸ, ਟੈਂਪਲ ਤੇ ਵਾਈਟ ਹੌਰਨ ਦੀ ਆ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਣ ਲਈ ਕਿ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਹਤਰ ਬਣਾ ਸਕੀਏ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ। And with that, I would like to introduce Minister of Social Services, Irfan Sabir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Sat Sri Akal, Adab, Assalamu Alaikum. First of all, it's my pleasure to be here. Welcome you all here for this very exciting day. And let me begin by recognizing that we are gathered here on the traditional lands of Treaty 7 First Nation. And I will also recognize and acknowledge many people of Alberta who share a deep connection with this land. I will also join by my colleagues, Deputy Premier, Minister of Health, Honorable Sarah Hoffman. She came all the way from Edmonton, so thankful to have you here. Honorable Brian Malkinson, Minister of Service Alberta, MLA for Calgary-Falconridge. He came all the way from Southwest with his Slurpee. So we are also joined by MLA Calgary-Falconridge, Grant Sucha. I will also recognize Anne McGrath. Anne McGrath is our candidate for Calgary West. I would also recognize Rup Rai. She is nomination contestant for the Calgary Northeast riding. Enrollment growth, we hired new teachers, and there are many other things. We also invested in Calgary Cancer Center. I think Minister Hoffman can talk about that more, but that was in the box and on shelves for the last 20 years. We invested in new green line, green infrastructure. And come 2019, the choice is pretty simple. Whether we keep moving forward, building on our progress that we made in the last 3.5 years, or we revert back to the cuts of 1990s, where social services, healthcare, education was on chopping board every time we will see a downturn in the economy. So what we have done so far, we are diversifying economy, we are creating new jobs, we are fighting for access to tidal waters, new markets for our energy resources, and Premier has taken leadership on that file that was always left to the fluctuating oil prices. If we are doing well, then we might see some progress, but whenever downturn hit, your services, your education, your healthcare was first to be cut. So their argument is that we made mess for 44 years. You haven't cleaned it up soon enough. So give us back our government. I think that's not a good argument. So together in 2019, we can make sure that we elect Premier Notley for another 4 years and keep this province moving forward, on the principles of equity, on the principles of inclusion, acceptance, and make sure that this province remains a place, welcoming place, accepting place for everyone.
Inspiring and heartwarming. I want to say how thrilled I am to be here with all of you, and especially to see so many people have brought their families, their children with them too. I think when you think about some of the values that are behind our government, making sure that we've got the right supports for families is one of those big ones for us. So, kids, Minister Sabir said, I am Rachel Notley's sidekick. Who wants to be Parmeet Singh's sidekick? Right? Can you think of any famous sidekicks? Who's a famous sidekick? Batman has one. Do you know who Batman's sidekick is? Oh yeah, here we go. That's right. And what's your name? Get ready. The next sidekick for Parmeet Singh. It's fantastic to be here, and I recognize many faces from events in the community from the past, but I also see many new faces here, and I think that is such a testament to the community building that you're already doing here, Parmeet, and how excited people are to see you as our candidate here in Calgary-Falconridge. Pardon me for that. I know that you've already been a leader in your community, and you've brought a number of initiatives forward to our government. I'm very proud of the work that we did with you and with the community to make sure that we brought forward the Sikh helmet exemption for riding motorcycles. As well as Sikh Heritage Month. Yeah. And as was mentioned, the work that's being done around anti-racism in the province of Alberta, and specifically in healthcare. We've brought forward a directive to Alberta Health Services to ensure that they have anti-racism education for all of the healthcare staff that work in all of their facilities. So I want you to know that you've already made a tremendous impact on our government, on our values, and on our initiatives as a community member. But you're going to be able to have an even stronger impact as a government MLA as part of Team Rachel Notley. Here. I am so passionate about the values that we have in the NDP, values around strong healthcare, making sure that it doesn't matter if you have a fur coat or no coat at all. If you show up at the hospital, you get the care you need when you need it. Making sure that we have great world-class education, that your children and all of our children have the opportunity to live their full potential and contribute to our community, and making sure that we have excellent jobs for every single one of us. And that includes, of course, making sure that we get our pipeline to Tidewater so we get that full value from that oil and gas that right now we're selling only south of the border at huge discounts. It's not fair to any of us. So we need the jobs that come with that pipeline, but also the revenue that comes with that pipeline to make sure we can get world-class prices and that we invest it back in families and in communities and things that matter to all of us. So I want to say how good it is to have a voice within the community and within hopefully our government after the next election that is going to make sure that the values of people living in Falconridge and Northeast Calgary are front of mind in every single decision that we make. And that's why I'm so excited that we are here tonight to officially kick off the nomination of Parmeet Singh as your candidate here in Calgary-Falconridge. I try to make sure that when I'm in Calgary, I use my time to its fullest. So this morning we had a fundraiser with a number of different people in the health profession who were talking about things that they were really proud of and things that they want to see us continue moving on. Just a few weeks ago when I was down for the Red FM Radiothon, I know that members of the community were raising money to help expand additional services in the Peter Lougheed Hospital. And when we opened that neonatal intensive care unit just over a year ago, how fantastic it was to, or maybe it was even less than a year, not long ago. I remember there was a baby dressed in a panda onesie, so it was probably around the same time the pandas came to the zoo. It made me think about all the amazing contributions of the community, and that really, when you think about it, healthcare, education, and jobs are the foundation to an excellent society. If we have good health, if we have good opportunities for our children, and if we have good jobs for all of us, that's what it takes to make sure that we continue to build a more inclusive and loving and accepting society. And when I see the kinds of extremism and hate that are gravitating towards the UCP, the kind of alleged fraud that is taking place there, it's very concerning when the leader of the official opposition, Mr. Kenny, says, well, you know, it's bound to happen. Those kinds of things will happen when you have these kinds of contests. And I have to say, they should not happen in any way. We should all make sure that we're working together in a respectful and in a democratic way to make sure that we have the very best government, a government that keeps the values of these children and of our seniors and of everybody in between as the driving principles when we make our decisions. Not about greed, it's about making sure that we're here to serve. So I know that I just finished doing some door knocking. I had a fundraiser and then did some door knocking. And when I was knocking on doors, a lot of people in Calgary talked about how there's still so much more to be done, and they're absolutely right. And the last update that came out from StatsCan just late last week, it showed that there was a growth of more than 20,000 new full-time jobs just in the last month. And that certainly is good, and it's a move in the right direction, but our work isn't done yet. And we can't undo all of that good growth that's happening in the private sector by attacking the public sector. We can't lose a whole generation of nurses. We can't lose a generation of teachers. We need to make sure that we're protecting the important public services as well as strengthening opportunities for private sector. So we want to keep moving on this track, and we want to do it with all of you who are in this room and with Parmeet sitting as one of Rachel Nutley's other sidekicks in the next election and after the election. So I want to say what an honor it is to be here today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. I always say there's 3 things that make for an excellent campaign. A winning campaign, it's time, it's talent, and it's treasure. And thank you for your time here today. You're going to hear the amazing talent of Parmeet Singh in just a moment. And then I know that our friend Brandon is going to talk a little bit about treasure too. So you get the trifactor here today, all 3 components for a successful campaign. So thank you so much, everyone. Let's have a big round of applause for our next candidate and the next MLA for Calgary-Falconridge, Parmeet Singh.
ਪਰਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਭਰਮੇ ਇਕੱਠ ਨੂੰ ਸੰਬੋਧਨ ਕਰਦਿਆਂ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਆਪਣੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਕੰਮਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਏ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਦੀ ਵਿਸਥਾਰਪੂਰਵਕ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ। ਇੱਥੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਦੱਸਣਯੋਗ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਪਰਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਦਸ਼ਮੇਸ਼ ਕਲਚਰ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਕੈਲਗਰੀ ਦੇ ਸਾਬਕਾ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਅਤੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਸਕੂਲ ਕੈਲਗਰੀ ਦੇ ਸਾਬਕਾ ਚੇਅਰਮੈਨ ਹਨ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। I would like to thank you, Honorable Deputy Premier Sir Hoffman, Minister Irfan Sabir, Brian Malkinson, Graham, and all my colleagues from NDP staff. And thank you for the work you guys are doing for betterment of Alberta, for our life. And thank you very much, Deborah, and as well. Friends, I want to thank you for joining me here on today on Treaty 7 3 years ago, history was made when the NDP won government in Alberta. In 2015, Albertans said, enough. They elected Rachel Notley to restore Alberta values to government and to fight for them. I'm running for the NDP and for Rachel because I want to fight for Calgary-Falconridge, and with your support, we can win this fight again in 2019. We will again. With Rachel Notley and the NDP, we are seeing progress. But we know there is more work to do to create more jobs, build pipelines, diversify our economy, and make life more affordable for all Albertans. That is why I'm here today, fighting for you and fighting for what matters. I want to fight for things our community needs, such as jobs, education, and healthcare. As an engineer, it has been my pleasure to help make life better for our communities and contribute to our province. As a long-time resident of Northeast, my passion for helping my neighbors comes from my family, my faith, and my community. And as a president of Dashmish Culture Center and the chairman of Khalsa School Calgary, which increased my involvement with community, also gave me a closer look into the issues facing our community. I'm here today to fight for what matters to families, like ensuring every child in Alberta gets an education that prepares them for success. One of the most rewarding experiences of serving in my community is when I work with young people. I volunteer for the youth mentorship program, bridging the gap between community organizations and guiding and motivating youngs to consider serving their communities. My hope at the end of the day is to help guide young people on a positive path, but I often find myself feeling inspired by them. Hosting anti-racism and anti-bullying seminars in school has taught me that there are our students are critical thinkers with compassionate hearts, but we need to ensure we give them the tools to fight discrimination in all forms.
ਨੋਮੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕੀਤੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਸਮੇਂ ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਸਮਰਥਕਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਪਤਵੰਤੇ ਸੱਜਣਾ ਨੇ ਚੋਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਫੰਡ ਰੇਜ਼ਿੰਗ ਵੀ ਕੀਤਾ।